Hello friends, this is Chandra from Akulmac Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. Today we are joined by Merav Klien-Asher from Israel. She joins us from Tel Aviv, and she is a management consultant. She works with very large high-tech companies and help their business from Israel. Merav, welcome to Top Brass.
Thank you very much. Thank you for addressing me and bringing interesting questions for thought.
It is our pleasure, Merav. And as you know, we are in India and we are under total lockdown. So we have just finished 3 weeks and we are in the 25th day of lockdown. How does it look like for you in Israel?
We have a sort of lockdown too. We are restrained on certain subjects of how far can you go from your home and for what? For buying food, just 100 meters from your home. Otherwise, you get fined. And people stay at home, most of them. Most communities are staying at home, although we had all kinds of holidays here, and people are very much used to gathering in these holidays. So government and police are doing a lot of effort to keep people at home.
Okay, so since so many people are under lockdown, almost like 99% of the people, of the citizens of your country under lockdown, and I'm sure this is first time for everyone globally. Do you see any impact or any adverse exposure shown by the people because they are under lockdown?
Yes, surely. I live within Tel Aviv. There's a neighborhood called Jaffa, in which we live together, Muslims and Jews and Christians. And each of us have different holidays, and sometimes it is very difficult to actually behave by the rules. And sometimes also it's a feeling like the police isn't acting the same towards different communities, different religions, and this is very frustrating. And on that, and there were occasions here in Jaffa, which is this neighborhood within Tel Aviv, in which there were real violence and a lot of angry people going out to the streets, frustrated and demonstrating against the way the police is acting towards them.
Okay, so this is serious. So did it escalate the COVID exposure because they were under protest?
It was only two days that later on everything became quiet again. There are tensions in Israel, like everyone knows, between Arabs and Jews and religious people and people who are not. So this brings up all these tensions again. Here in Jaffa, we are trying, I myself, I voluntarily work for these last 11 years in bringing up a bilingual school of Jews and Arabs kids studying together. So we're trying to see how we mend these tensions and how we help people understand that actually we're all together in this situation, and whoever won't cooperate and if we won't keep ourselves safe and our families safe, then we'll pay a very big price. So it takes a lot of energy to see that everyone is together, and a lot of solidarity to help the poor people who have nothing to eat. So there are all kinds of organizations, and just private people and communities that help one another, so that people on general and on holidays, and elderly people who have no one that looks after them, people really are working very hard to help one another.
I think this is something very unique, and I think all the humanity, irrespective of their religion and their following, I think we should work together. Having said that, a lot of us are working from home and working from confinements. Do you see in your circle in Israel or in other parts of the world, there is a sentiment reduction with regard to business?
Yes, of course. First of all, the things that I do is managerial coaching, working with management teams, and working with the team leaders to strengthen their managerial concepts and insights. uh, Working as a group. We use Zoom now a lot, and in the high tech and industry, it's very easy because people are used to having conversations like we're doing, using Zoom and other applications. But still, we miss the interpersonal touch and seeing and understanding and looking into your eyes is something that we can partially do, but not as a full, in a way that we are used to and that we like. Really meeting, sitting together in one room when we can. Uh, it's a different experience. So and some businesses are taking there was a volume of the business taken down, and they need to see how they depart from some people or depart from specific things that they're doing. Expertise that they had, and they can go on doing that. So if I understood you right, I'm not sure if that's the sentiment or the business status that you were asking on.
Oh yes, I think the sentiments world over is slightly low at this point in time, and as you rightly pointed out, that the personal touch is important to feel the other person. But fortunately, we have tools like Zoom, and we can talk as much as you like, sitting in front of each other, thousands of miles away, and we will be completely secure in our surroundings because using technology we will not get any infection. The virus will not spread using Zoom, so I think we are safe. And so I fully appreciate what you're trying to say, that in any business face-to-face interaction is very important. Now, having said that, and you work with a lot of global companies, and you work with a lot of cross-border situations where you're based in Israel, but I think you're traveling world over to many countries.
Mhm.
What do you see from your point of view? What the governments of each country, whether it's Israeli or US or India or Japan, what they should do to bring the business sentiments up after this lockdown is lifted?
Yeah, I think, well, each one finds in each situation what he or she looks for. So for me, the kind of leadership that I'm for is the leadership that is striving to give people uh, space and respect, and see them in an equal status, although some are from different religions, different nationalities, different genders. And as I see, this is something that is going to be strengthened. And I also see, when I look at different leaders of countries and governments, I'm not too happy with my own government. Uh, uh, they don't follow the values that I believe in. I'm very much interested in women leaders, also in leading countries. And I see, we have Finland, we have Germany, we can see a few examples that are very interesting to look at. And maybe it has to do something with the fact them being women, and maybe it's not, maybe it's just a personality thing. But I'm very interested in the values that these leaders are promoting. And I do believe that leaders that really look for inclusion, look for how they connect between different communities, how they see how they're gonna deal with poor people that, of course, don't have the ability of going on with their lives and working and having enough, sometimes even not enough breath to see how they, uh, 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 see how this gap of a month or two that they have less income, how are they going to deal with that, and strengthening these, or leaders, I think, need to see that these gaps aren't strengthened, that the classes, I think in India and in Israel, we are both countries not in a good state of having huge gaps between different classes. And I appreciate leaders that really look in the eyes to everyone. And some of these leaders have even held press, how do you call that, press
Press conference.
with press conferences with children, which is, I think, is it's a message. It's a message to the world to see what do we appreciate, and giving time for families to see how they cope with this situation. And I think also leaders and managers within the industry, they don't have to be the leaders of the country, leaders of companies. I see different companies and different leaders within these companies, how they cope with this situation, how they keep on giving giving the employees a feeling of careness, of solidarity, of really trying to help people out to see how they manage in this situation. So my colleagues, the HR community, I see them work very hard to give tools and to share in a very widespread, it's not just each one working for this specific company. They really work as a community to see how we struggle and how we cope with these challenges. So this is something that I think is very strengthened in this situation. And when we try and see how we cope from here onward, I think we'll even get better at that. We should get better at coping
Yeah,
together.
yeah, certainly. I think what you're making, what you're saying right now, and the points that you're making are very valid. I think it's not only the government; it's also the leader of the society. They have to play a very, very vital and important role. Uh, I think the post-COVID world will be slightly different than what we had seen last year, that is in 2019. I think there'll be new
Mhm.
ways, there'll be new strategies that people have to evolve. Uh, for example, schools. I think that's the one industry which is hit very hard. So
Sure.
likewise, people going to office, they have to, find some other way of working from the office or working from home. So I think
Mhm.
you're making a very valid intervention, that it's not only the government. I think the top leadership and all managers have to play a very vital role together.
Sure. I really think they should give an example, and sometimes I find that within different companies we have better examples of leadership than what we have in government, and across the world, whoever leads Google and Amazon and other widespread global companies, they are the leaders of this world, not less than governments. And what's the example that they're giving for inclusion and solidarity, and seeing how we cope with these gaps between different classes, and how we help each other. Because at the end, we are all interdependent. It's not that we can, not look at what's going on in other industries or other classes, because we are all, and this is something I think this situation is strengthening very much, the understanding, the insight of the interdependency.
Uh, Merav, actually, it's my pleasure to talk to you. And one thing I like to say is that running a company is one sort of responsibility, but running a country is a totally different ball game. Uh, and not many people understand the diplomacy to run a company or run a country. Um, but I think your points are very valid. Uh, and it was a great pleasure talking to you. You found time to join us from Israel, and I'm
Mhm.
sure we will find another opportunity to talk to you to discuss something more after a few days.
Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste. Take care.